Hey everybody, I'm Shayna TV, matchmaker, and I'm here today with my friend Mandi. Hi Mandi.
Huh?
She's a single mom and she is here to teach us a little bit about how to spot a scammer in regards to dating. Nowadays people are everybody I know is talking about Tinder swindler. What do you think, Mandi?
I was in shock when I watched it, but not in shock because I haven't heard this in different ways. Not necessarily with the money aspect, but I feel like me and all my single girlfriends have been swindled with some online guys from time to time.
I hear you. And so I wanted to chat with Mandy. It's Valentine's Day. There's a lot of buzz going on online. A lot of people want to meet each other. And Mandy's just really open and honest. And she's kind of been there, done that. And she doesn't play games anymore. And she knows she can just cut through the trash. And she knows what's going on out there in regards to who feels honest, who feels like they're trying to maybe not swindle, but possibly dupe you or take your time, take your energy, take your love, and leave you kind of with nothing in return.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, Mandy, tell us. Everybody wants to know. Tell me about one of the times you felt like you were duped and you really were surprised about it.
I have a couple, but I've got a really good one, and I have a good way how I figured it out. Because
Okay.
what do? We're online dating, we Google. Sometimes you're like, is that their name? Like that's is that their real first name? Is that their real last name? You start
Mm-hmm.
Googling. For the most part, everybody has something out there, right? You can verify there's some way like a real person. LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat. Although I've learned my lesson, if a guy's like, I'm not on any of that, I'm just on Snapchat. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see your penis. Thank you very much. Like, not today. We just met online. Um,
Correct.
but
Correct.
I met this guy. He was the first guy I met after a pretty serious breakup. I was in a relationship on and off for about 7 years. Actually, someone I moved down here to Florida with. And so I was pretty heartbroken. And I waited about a year before I went out there. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I went on this date with this guy. I wasn't super excited about it because I just wasn't there. When I got to the restaurant, he just was lovely. He was attractive. He was fun. He was funny. He explained who he was, his job, told me he was 30, gave me his name, didn't have any kids. It seemed great. We dated for about 6 weeks, and it was nice. I went to name a restaurant in Sarasota, Orlando, Tampa. We went for 6 weeks straight. We spent some time over in Orlando a couple weekends. I mean, it was just a nice time. The time
Yeah.
had gone on, and he had been over to my place. Now, he didn't meet my daughter. I don't do that for a very long time, but I hadn't been to his place. And I was like, this is just weird. And I will admit at that time in 2019, I didn't confirm online if he was who he said he was.
Okay.
So after 6 weeks, I was like, something just feels weird. Like, he's not invited me to his place. We're having all these deep conversations. I'm having such a great time. I just wanted to know. Went to a restaurant with him, got there before him, talked to the waitress, and I just said, look, I'm going to be real. Met this guy, enjoying my time. He's fantastic. He's lovely. I don't know if I know his real name because I can't find anything online. Nothing at all. And
Okay.
I asked the waitress, I said, whatever's on the credit card, the name, can you please tell me what it is? She said, I got you, girl. She was like, yes. So we had dinner. He paid. We had a couple drinks at the bar. It was like a daytime type of date. And then we departed. We both we had evening plans already. So we both left the restaurant. I turned around. I left when he left. We both left. I turned around, went back to the waitress, and I said, so is his name blank blank? And she said, no, no. And
Uh-oh.
his name was blankety blank something else. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
oh, okay. I got in my car. I looked him up. There's a couple websites that you can go on other than Google. I looked him up on Google, found something quick. The first thing I found was he lied about his age.
Okay.
He was not 30. He was 36.
Okay.
When I tell you, I just sped out of that parking lot because I was like, what man lies about his age? Why? Why? I mean, I don't think men do that. Not in their 30s.
Right.
When I got home, I looked him up. Long story short, he's a big executive for the company he's worked for 16 years, married with 2 children, had just bought a giant, beautiful house, like $500,000 home in Naples.
Wow.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe that happened to me. I was sad. I felt embarrassed. Everything.
So Mandi, let me get this straight. This was somebody that you were actually dating for like a while. It wasn't just like a first date. Like he was whining and dining and showing up and acting appropriate and
buying
being
me gifts, showing up at my job, bringing me flowers, bringing me
Wow.
lunch, stopping in to see me.
Wow.
He had
So
sent
really-
some gifts home for my daughter, even though he hadn't met her.
Wow. So really, really making an effort to show that he was interested in you and like the beginning of a relationship.
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
100%.
What made you ask the waitress to check on his name?
Because when I looked up the name he gave me, nothing came up. Like just nothing. Not a ticket, not a job, not a picture, not a company, nothing. Even the company he said that he worked for, like he wasn't even in the directory.
So that's a really good red flag. That's a really good indicator. It sounds like Mandi's red flag number 1 that we're gonna talk about. So that's an indicator to really investigate a little bit deeper. If somebody has 0 online presence, and you know he's a big exec, so like why wasn't he popping up on LinkedIn? Why wasn't he, having some articles written about him?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I was just looking for one thing. Yeah. There was nothing.
Yeah.
When I found him, there was like 100 things. People know who he is.
That's really, really devastating. What do you think what was he getting out of the relationship? Companionship, intimacy?
He was getting intimacy. He was getting companionship. When I looked back over the time we had spent together, the places he was taking me, the people knew him, but they didn't know his private life. So he was getting arm candy, taking me to these places. He was getting sex. He was really, truly. A lot of people are talking about the money that these girls gave over and, they shouldn't have done that. I might not have given a dime, but I gave my time. I gave my heart. I was invested. And tell me, how much is that worth? Is there a GoFundMe for my time? Because I wish that there was, because it's priceless. And I was giving him all of that, all my attention.
And then how did you end it? Or, I know you ended it because you're not with
him
now.
Listen what I did.
What'd you do?
I sent him a screenshot of the deed of his house that him and his wife were on.
Oh,
because
good.
I found out everything. He was speechless.
Wow.
He wanted to talk. I didn't have nothing to say. To say. He was busted.
He was busted.
Very busted.
He was busted. Did he backpedal and try to make excuses and try to make it like everything was still okay?
All those things. And he boo-hooed, he cried, and he gave me all these reasons. And what he continued to do was give me reasons to put on my running shoes. Like, how fast can I run away?
Wow. So it sounds like after you identified that he wasn't who he said he was, you had all these emotions because you were investing your time and your heart and your energy. And then he wasn't who he said he was. And it wasn't the relationship you thought it was. So then you got out of that situation and you shut that door.
I did. It was such a, you grieve. I felt grief. I felt genuine grief after this. I was angry. Yes, I was mad. I felt silly. I felt dumb. But I felt grief because I was like, I just spent this time and having all these conversations with this person for weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
like, he's not even real. He's not even a
Wow.
real person. The name he gave me was not even his real name. Like, this is not even a real person. How do you grieve someone who's not even real? That's strange. I don't know if there's any self-help books for that.
And you were showing up being real, like you were being real, and
All
he
of
was
me,
not.
all of
Wow.
me, very real.
So what is your takeaway from that horrible experience?
Oh, I look everything up. In fact, I a lot of my single girlfriends will reach out to me and be like, "Hey, let's look this person up because they're out dating."
Okay.
I have become a master. I can find out anything.
Good.
I mean, my line of work that I was in for many years was helping women in situations that were toxic relationships. And really, I started to apply what I was doing every day with women to myself. I didn't think I needed it. I didn't think I needed that type of research needed to be done in the dating world,
Right.
because I wasn't in dangerous situations. I wasn't in scary situations, but dating can be. And so all the things I was doing at my daytime job, I started applying for myself, looking up these people, finding out really who they are, finding out, first of all, is their name legit? Like, that's such a big thing. And it sounds silly, but I cannot tell you since this experience how many women I've talked to that they're like, I share that experience. Someone literally lied about their name, their whereabouts, who they were. And when I found out, I was blown away. So this is not uncommon. That's why I'm not embarrassed. Some people might be like, "Oh, you're stupid for doing that and you're silly."
No.
I'm not embarrassed. I have met so many women that have been through this specific thing that it needs to be talked about. So look them
It
up.
does. And Mandi, where, I can tell you some of the, as a matchmaker, some of the professional websites we use, but tell me, as a person out there dating, what do you use besides Google to find out about people? And then I'll share some of the resources I have.
So a couple things that I do is I ask a lot of questions now, and I find out where they lived, where they grew up. And so I go straight to the clerk of courts. It's all public. And I want to see a ticket because it matches usually the car that they're driving. And I can verify at least this is a real person. While I'm in there, I can see what type of record do they have? Are they just like me? Do we just have some tickets and some red light, green light? That's good. Do we have something scary? Well, that's a red flag.
Okay.
So that's one way.
Okay.
Been verified is another
Yep.
one. It's like $14.95 a month. I usually find a lot of red flags there because I'll ask them, where'd you grow up? Where are you from? And they'll be like, oh, I've been here forever, because they don't want to tell the truth, right? And then I see like something comes up like, oh, Minnesota. Oh, you were here. Then I go to the clerk of courts in Minnesota, in that county. And then I find their all their stuff. So the clerk of courts is a really big one. But been verified helps to find out where have they been.
Yeah. Been verified is great for somebody who is out there on their own dating and they really want to safeguard as to who this person is, because they don't know that you're doing a background check on them, and they don't have to know. It's you doing it, and you get all the results, and you can download it into a PDF, and it's actually super helpful. So it sounds to me like what you're telling me is that advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to.
Well, this is so you identified red flag. You had a crazy experience. You identified the red flags. You took action into your own hands. You shut the door on that. And then now moving forward, you're always advocating for yourself as a dater out there, protecting yourself, protecting your daughter, helping other women. I mean, you took a situation and really turned it around. Seriously. And yeah, that's amazing.
Definitely easier said than done because, he was the first person that I dated after that big heartbreak. So it sounds like a nice package, like, oh, I told him and I let him know and I put him in his place. No, man, I cried for a while. I was sad.
Of course.
That was hard. It was hard.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, did that deeply hurt you forever? Are you out there trying to find love again? Like, where are you at currently with that?
I am out there Finding love. I wish that I could tell you that that was the one and only time that that has happened to me.
Okay.
That's happened numerous times in different ways, but specifically these men are still connected, to partners, married. It's happened a couple times. I don't let it beat me down. I do my due diligence now, specifically since that experience. And actually, I've saved myself a lot of heartache instead of having a 6-week relationship with someone that's not legit. Now, sometimes I figure out things, we don't even make it to a date. But
Okay.
1 or 2 dates, I figure things out. And
So tell everybody, what are some of the red flags? Like 1 or 2 dates, what are some of the red flags that you immediately detect and you're like, oh no, I'm not going down this road again?
when it comes to someone, like kind of knowing if they're probably in another relationship,
Okay.
where are you living? Who are you living with? Was it hard to get back up on your feet after your divorce? When did you get divorced? People really, I think I have the gift of gab, and people will share with me. And I do think that genuinely some men think that it's okay to still be, they're in the process of divorce, still living with someone. Oh, well, I sleep on the couch. That is a lie. Everybody know that. If you hear anything that I say, if you're listening to this and still listening, he is not sleeping on the couch. He's not. He's not.
So you want to make sure somebody is cleanly divorced for a
100.
certain period of time before you agree to go out with them. And what is that period of time?
I have a rule. I don't know. I just made this up in my head. It's my own
Sure.
mathematical formula. It seems to work when I've met people. I've met a lot of people, men and women. And I kind of ask this, well, how long were you married? And they'll say, oh, 5 years. Well, how long have you been divorced? They'll tell me whatever the time frame is. I look at it like this. For every year that a man was with someone, he needs a good month of being single. So if he was with someone for 5 years, he needs about 5 to 6 months of being single, figuring himself out, doing whatever it is that he needs to do. Because I've been there early. I've been there in the grieving stage of their relationships. I would rather eat dirt than be with a guy who I'm the rebound and he is starting to grieve his ex-wife. Like, wow, that is a terrible place to be. I never want to be there again. And everybody needs time. I think men and women grieve differently. I think women right away, we're sad. We're sad and we do all the sad things. Men go out and they're like, I'm going to the club, I'm going to party, I'm getting on Bumble, I'm going to date, I'm going to have a good time, I'm going to meet with this girl, I'm going to hang out. And that's all fine. But I don't want to be that girl that you're meeting. I'd like to wait the time until you're over that other relationship, because I don't want to be in Mexico with you on a vacation and I have these, hard eye emojis and everything seems great and you're crying over your ex-wife. No.
Right. So be free and clear and present and ready to fully explore a relationship with somebody with honesty and, honest communication.
Yep.
So, Mandi, what are some of your top tips in regards to, being safe while dating?
Oh God, please drive your own car. I don't know how many girls I hear. My girlfriends, my close girlfriends are like, oh yeah, he came to my house and he picked me up. I'm like, why? No.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Take your own car. You need an escape route. You need to get out of there. Tell your friends where you are. I always text a couple girlfriends, like where I'm at. Like, you need to hear from me. And even if I'm hanging out and having a good time, I just keep it real simple with my friends. Still here, I'm good. Even if it is 2:30 a.m.
Yes. Good.
Definitely the online searching. Always do it. I do my due diligence every single time.
Okay. So these are some amazing real life top tips from somebody who's been there, done that, learned a thing or two, and really knows how to cut through the noise and really see people for who they are. So I love your top tips, and I really think that if people were to advocate for themselves, then they would feel safer and they would at least have something to go on,
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think too, being honest with yourself, because what I run into with my girlfriends, and sometimes when I have a girlfriend, because I am the way that I am, and I'm always this way, I'm always like, let's look him up. Come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I notice some of my girlfriends, when they're dating, I won't hear from them. And
Okay.
then when things aren't going so well, they'll be like, hey, Mandi. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm here for you. Let's talk about it. And
Wow.
I don't ever judge, because I've been there. And sometimes we want these guys to be legit. We want them to be real. But then I find out my girlfriends aren't looking them up. They aren't looking these things up. And they're committing to something with this person before they even know who he is. And so be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. I've been there, and I don't judge. Let's not lie to ourselves. Let's just find out who he is. Find out what you can find out before you meet.
And you've said something to me in the past that I wanted to bring up, before we wrap it up. You like to talk about, don't date people because of what their potential is. Look at them for who they are now. Who are they now, and how are they showing up currently? Not who you think they're going to be in a few years, not who you think they could be. Who are they now? Please speak to that, because I know you have wisdoms.
This is such a big thing. I think probably all of my 20s was dating guys and thinking, oh, but they can be so great, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And it's all talk and no action. And now when I'm dating, I'm not looking at a man and saying, what is he going to be? What is he going to, for example, here, look at it this way. How about smoking cigarettes?
Sure.
That is a deal breaker for me. I don't want to smell like smoke. I don't want to kiss smoke. I don't want to be around smoke. I don't like it.
Right.
So you meet someone today, and everything about him seems great. I know smoking seems minimal, but just look at it this way.
Good example.
You meet him today, tangible. You meet him today, and he says, I do smoke once in a while when I'm stressed and I'm trying to quit. I need to be able to accept today that he is a smoker, and that he is going to be a smoker forever in order to continue. Because if I put in my head, he's going to quit, when he doesn't, I'm going to be so angry at myself and so disappointed. And be like, why did I do this? I knew this from the beginning. Why did I do that to myself? Look at that in every aspect of the person that he is. Accept him for who he is today. And if you can't, that's when you move on. Don't lie to yourself. Don't trick yourself. Don't try to fix him. You're not his come up. You can't stop him from smoking, girl. You can't. I've been there. It's nasty. You can't.
Right. Well, Mandi, I truly always enjoy chatting with you. And I really love your openness and willing to use whatever you've been through to help other people. And that's like a core value of yours. You're always trying to help other people. You're always there for people if they need to talk. And you're just some great tips. I mean, advocate for yourself. Look that dude up. Drive your own car. Make sure someone knows where you are. And you keep showing up as your authentic self. So I just wanted to acknowledge that you're going to win. Like you're showing up as your authentic self every time.
Thank you. Yes, I enjoy our chats every time too.
So ladies out there, if you're out there dating on your own in regards to, online, listen to what Mandi says. She's really been there, done that, and she knows really what to look out for. And yeah, stay safe and keep your eyes open. But,
sure,
love is out there.
It's out there somewhere.
Well, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, everybody. Talk soon. Thank you, Mandi.
Thank you. Bye-bye.